My breasts were beautiful, and now they have been incinerated for nothing. Thank you, modern medicine. I was not suicidal before going on hormones, and yet doctors asked my parents the question, would you rather have a dead daughter or a living son? This is not how medical professionals are supposed to talk. This is how activists talk.
All right, so everybody, this was a tough video for me to do because it's just such a strange topic. These these people are mutilating children. Some of them for the weirdest reasons, like Hollywood actors will become irrelevant and then they'll start posting selfies when they're not getting enough attention and encouraging their child to make a life-changing decision. A small child who's not old enough to drive, they're not old enough to do this, they're not old enough to do that, but they're old enough to make a decision on whether or not to mutilate their bodies and wreck their hormonal systems. And it's insane. So I had to make the video. So here we are. I'm over on the Blaze. Remember to like, subscribe, comment, and share the video because YouTube hates me. Tell your friends to subscribe to my channel. Get subscribers on this channel. We need to get the word out. Hell, we only got a few weeks before the midterms. We need to blast this out. This message needs to be blasted out to normies, and you guys are the ones to do it. Make sure you do it. Anyway, guys, we're over here on the Blaze. My breasts were beautiful, and now they have been incinerated. Florida Board of Medicine hears former transsexuals regrets, drafts a mutilation ban. So you saw the intro. That's pretty shocking stuff. This poor girl. They encouraged her, activists, as she stated, and we'll watch the rest of that video in 1 second, she stated that these people aren't doctors, they're activists. Okay, let's get that straight. And I got a few things I want to touch on, and then we're going to watch one of these videos. I got two of them for you, this young lady here and the one you saw in the intro. But let's get on with it real quick. Mutilated and forever scarred one woman told members of a medical panel on Friday that if she is still able to have children, she will never be able to breastfeed them, 2 years after being mutilated by surgeons whom she claimed were really just activists in smocks. Chloe Cole's chest remains bandaged, her nipples bleeding interminably. She cannot get this to stop. They screwed her up for life, and they all walked her down this primrose path to hell. Okay, guys? Amidst jeers from transsexual activists, Chloe Cole joined other victims of so-called gender-affirming treatment in Orlando to tell the Florida Boards of Medicine and Osteopathic Medicine Joint Rules Legislative Committee, that's a lot, why children and adolescents should be protected from sterilizing puberty blockers and genital mutilation. This is some pretty strong stuff, and I really feel for these girls because, you know what? They were led down this path by people who know what they're doing. Okay? These people know exactly what they're doing, and she told the truth. They're freaking activists in smocks. Okay? They have an agenda. Why? It's mind-blowing. You got me. And this is not a video to knock somebody who's done this. Okay? This is a video to show that it's not right. Somebody should be grown up enough and mature enough to make these decisions on their own. You can't be doing this to children. Period. End of story. And it goes on to say they evidently impressed upon the officials the urgency of taking action because, according to WKMG, the panel ultimately signed off on a draft rule favored by our boy Ron DeSantis that would prohibit doctors from mutilating persons with gender dysphoria under the age of 18. And that's what's really going on here. These people have gender dysphoria, and they just throw all this crap their way and convince them that they're going to be happier as something they're not. I can't say it as good as this girl says it, so I'm going to go ahead and play this video, and we'll watch it together. I can't. She's been through it. She knows what she's talking about. Let's hear it from her. I'm going to go ahead and play this.
At 13, I started taking puberty blockers and testosterone, and at 15, I underwent in which my breasts were removed and my nipples were grafted. And yet at 16, after years of medically transitioning, I came to realize I severely regretted my transition. It has been over a year since my last testosterone injection. During my diagnosis for dysphoria and the consultations for these treatments, the overall picture of my life just went completely unaddressed. From a young age, I was actually quite a very feminine girl, although I did somewhat model myself after my older brothers. Up until my transition, I had relatively normal levels of teen distress, but my early exposure to social media and the internet led to my body image worsening. I was introduced to inappropriate content and an echo chamber of far-left ideology, such as that sex and gender are separate, women are inherently victims, men are inherently superior in every way, and that dysphoric children need hormones and surgeries in order to live. These reductive ideologies have crept their way into science and, by extension, medicine. I unknowingly gave my mind and eventually my body to an anti-science movement that reduces womanhood to long hair, Barbie dolls, dresses, and false self-perception. I actually developed more psychiatric issues the further I went into transition. I was on the verge of suicide for nearly all of high school. Some things went undiagnosed for years until after I stopped transitioning, like autism and body dysmorphia. All the talk about mental health, self-perception, pronouns, and ideology leads me to the question, why is a mental health epidemic not being addressed with mental health treatment to get at the root causes for why female adolescents like me want to reject their bodies? I was not suicidal before going on hormones, and yet doctors asked my parents the question, would you rather have a dead daughter or a living son? This is not how medical professionals are supposed to talk. This is how activists talk. What was the cost of treating mental health with barbaric surgeries? I have bandages on my chest today, over 2 years post-op, because my nipples leak fluid and they stain my clothes. I have no breasts. I want to be a mother someday, and yet I can never naturally feed my children, my future children. My breasts were beautiful, and now they have been incinerated for nothing. Thank you, modern medicine.
Wow. I mean, that story really got to me. I got to tell you guys, that story really got to me. I really feel for this young lady because these are adults. As she said, they're activists in smocks who are pushing an agenda and using these children as pawns and ruining a lot of their lives. I can guarantee you, I'm no doctor, but these people, for the most part, I don't think end up being happy. I mean, it's like she said, you're exposed to this version of what beauty is or whatever, and, everybody goes through that. I went through that. Everybody goes through that. You feel like you're not as nice looking as somebody. Everybody goes through that. Even the so-called beautiful people, they go through that too. It's quite natural. And for them to use that as a tool to manipulate and ruin these children's lives is a sick, sick endeavor. They have nothing but bad intentions for these poor people. And I really feel for them. She's been through hell, and they led her right by her hand and said, I'm from the government. I'm here to help. I'm from the whatever, and I'm here to help. And none of them were here to help. They were there to push an agenda. And to me, it just freaks me out. It's disgusting. So I won't, I couldn't say it any better than her, so I wasn't going to try. I've got another one for you right here. Let's check this one out. It says survivor of the transgender movement speaks out. And this one is also very good. 6 doctors spoke, 3 of whom spoke in opposition to the draft. What kind of nut jobs are these? They're activists in smocks. WSF reported that one of the 3 doctors opposed to the proposal, Meredith McNamara, remember that name, if she's anywhere around you, stay away from her, suggested that a social contagion is not to blame for the spike in the number of trans children and gender clinics, which it absolutely is to blame. Okay, absolutely is. Because I'll go on to explain what that social contagion is. According to the American Psychological Association, a social contagion is when behaviors, attitudes, and emotions spread like diseases through crowds and other types of social aggregates. Partly as a result of the members' heightened suggestibility, a social contagion is allegedly sustained by imitation, conformity, and mimicry. Absolutely nailed it. It is a social contagion. Absolutely. And it's infected adults and children, and it's being put forth by people with this crazy agenda that is not, they don't give a rat's patootie about these children and how it destroys their lives mentally and physically. Let's see what else worth stating here. Let's just get straight to this second video, and then I'll read you one more thing. Let's let this young lady speak. This will get you.
And I really thought transitioning was going to fix everything. My period stopped, facial hair grew. Soon I was passing as male. At first I was elated, but my mental health did not improve. I became more suicidal, more unstable, and the anxiety became debilitating. The testosterone was never questioned as a contributing factor to my increasing instability. I was in and out of mental hospitals 6 times while being affirmed as male and supported in my decision to transition by my doctor, psychiatrist, immediate family, and even church.
All of these people are complicit. Even her church. Okay? I mean, it's insane.
I was also diagnosed with complex PTSD and OCD during this time. I desperately wanted top surgery and a hysterectomy, but couldn't afford them. After a serious suicide attempt in February of 2018, I realized that just changing my appearance was not going to take away the pain. So I started working really hard in therapy, but I still believed I was male. A year later, in 2019, I had a life-changing encounter with Jesus and began to find deep healing and peace within myself. After nearly 4 years of being on testosterone, I decided to detransition and accept my womanhood. My mental health improved exponentially. I'm no longer in therapy, nor even on mental health medication. I have not been suicidal or hospitalized since stopping testosterone. 3 years later, my menstrual cycle has still been irregular. I still have to shave my face daily, and I struggle with hormonal acne. I'm truly grateful I never got surgery because now I'm happily married and 28 weeks pregnant. But if I had gotten surgeries that I so desperately wanted as a teenager, that would have stolen this future from me. So I'm asking the board to create a rule that makes it unethical for doctors to prescribe these hormone treatments for people under the age of 18 and surgeries under the age of 21. Thank you.
I mean, is that asking too much? This one really got me too. I really feel for this young lady. Thank God. Literally. Thank God she didn't go through with any of that. I mean, the poor young lady has to shave daily because of the the Frankensteinish bullcrap that they're putting on these young children. Because they're going through normal teenage BS that every teenager throughout history has gone through. They're using it as a lever to smash their lives into bitty pieces. It's really sad. I mean, when I was researching this video today, it kind of got to me. I was just like, man, I really feel sorry for these people. But thank God they woke up. The one lady, not in time. Now she's scarred for life. And she regrets every minute of it after being told by all the adults in the room that she's doing the right thing, knowing damn well it wasn't going to end well. Thank God, though. We're not going to talk about what the rest of the doctors said, but I will tell you this, and then I'll wrap this video up. And share this with a friend. Share this with someone. This isn't to bash transgender people or the LGBTQ people. This is about children. You want to do what you're doing as an adult, do it. Just don't force it, and don't try to make it some kind of thing where you're trying to recruit more folks into your outfit by lying to them. That's where I have a problem. Okay? I have a real problem with that. And I think most Americans do. I think angry American nation, you people, the angry American army, are not going to go for this. So share this video with somebody. Share it with family. Share it with whoever you want. But get the word out. And I will share this with you, and then we're going to wrap this up. As they now stand, the Florida Department of Health's guidelines concerning gender dysphoria are as follows. Social gender transitions should not be a treatment option for children or adolescents. Amen. Anyone under 18 should not be prescribed puberty blockers or hormone therapy. Amen. You start screwing with what the body wants to do naturally. Wow, are you going to wreak havoc? Gender reassignment surgery should not be a treatment option for children or adolescents, period. Based on currently available evidence encouraging mastectomy, ovariectomy, uterine extirpation, penile disablement, tracheal shave, the prescription of hormones which are out of line with the genetic makeup of the child, or puberty blockers, are all clinical practices which run an unacceptably high risk of doing harm. I mean, those names of those surgeries sound pretty disturbing. Okay? They sound scary. Children and adolescents should be provided social support by peers and family and seek counseling from a licensed provider. I mean, if you think you need it, okay? Church is always a good option, but hey, there's crazies everywhere. I get that. So just be careful. It's like I always say, we're going to wrap this up. I mean, this whole thing's a mess, and I agree with everything these young ladies are saying, period. And I'll tell you this, if you're a parent and you're pushing this kind of crap, or you subscribe to this BS, you're going to be in for a world of disappointments, heartache, and maybe worse. I don't recommend it. I'm not a doctor, but I'm saying. Sounds like a bad idea. Anyway, guys, until next time, be aware of your surroundings at all times, because some crazy, crazy stuff is going on out here. Peace. Peace. Out.
Mom, where are you? Mom! Mommy! Hi.
Are you lost, sweetheart? Are you afraid, honey? Well, why don't you come with me?
I don't get it, Tim. I'll lead an effective strategy to mobilize true international effort to pressure. True international effort to pressure.
What kind of country we're going to be? 4 more years of George, he's going to find our...
Thank you.
Honey, what is it?